Hi, Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert, and we're at one of the funnest times in terms of what I do in the work life, and that is the time where we do an interview on leaders living their values. And so it's amazing to see who people are and to unlock how they show up in the world. And today I have Simon Severino. Simon, thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, Mitchell. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
And so, Simon, I'd like to throw up an open-ended question to start. And hello, who are you?
Hey, I'm Simon Severino. I'm somebody who did fall in love 21 years ago with one question. And the question was, how can we enter a market, crush it in the market, stay in the market, which is the go-to-market question. And I did fall in love with this question because there is no answer. So you have to explore territory. It's intellectually stimulating for me because since there is no answer, the question is, will we come up with an answer? If we come up with an answer, my God, we will feel so smart, right? And so relevant. And then the next thing is that people are really, really keen on going deep into this work. And if I would say, hey, guys, we need 3 more days. Can we stay until Monday? Because we didn't solve it yet. They would say, of course, are we going to sacrifice the weekend? Of course, Simon, we'll be here until we have an answer. Because without the market solution, everything else does not fall into place. So yes, of course. And I was like, oh my God, is this cool? There is this intense energy, there is intellectual stimulation, there is emotional involvement from everybody. Can I do this every day? And so fast forward 21 years later, I'm still doing this every day.
So Simon, I was so excited when you started your conversation that you fell in love. So did you fall in love with a person? Or tell me a little bit more about outside of the work stuff. Who are you?
So, yes, I did also fall in love with a person. I am married to Francisca. We have 3 kids together. We live in Vienna. And
right.
That's who I am as a person. I love nature. I love yoga. I love philosophy. That makes a lot of my day. My day starts with being outdoor, running in nature, swimming in nature, playing with my kids wherever we can, singing, dancing, as you do with small kids. We have 3 small kids, so every moment is a jam session around here. It's very spontaneous, very creative, very in the moment. And then the 8 hours in between that are work related, they are me being a coach for people. And since I fired myself from operations, I coach mainly the strategy sprints coaches. So I coach the coaches in my team, and we help people with go-to-market.
All right. So 3 kids, happily married, Vienna. So the hills are alive with the sound of, I always think the sound of music every time when I've gone to Vienna and been there. What's a cool spot? Like when you're out with the family, is there places you go which are local? Tell me a little bit more about your outside time.
Yeah, since they're small kids, so every afternoon we are basically in playgrounds. They love playgrounds, and we have a specific one here where we go very often. We live, if you know Vienna a little bit, we live near Schönbrunn Castle, which is a huge park with a lot of nature, some castles, and it's a great place to be. And there is a zoo, and my kids love the zoo. We have been there like 600 times, so it's starting to be not that exciting. I have to find a new adventure soon. But so far we loved it.
So wait, so 600 times, is that like the real 600 times, or is it like my wife who sort of says a number slightly exaggerated? Because that's a lot of times.
Yeah, it's the Italian way of saying like a ton of times, but probably it might even be accurate because it's around 2.5 years of going there almost daily.
You know what? I was thinking that so your number may be actually very accurate. You may have actually underestimated. Yeah, I remember those days. That was so amazing. And so tell me a little bit more about that. I know you mentioned that you do 8 hours a day coaching. What is that work-life balance for you?
Oh, it's become a priority. So it wasn't always like that. In the first years, I was working just all the time. And I was enjoying it actually, but my friends and family were like, Simon, like, when do you get normal again? Like when do you come back, right, to planet Earth from your stuff that you are doing there? And I was like, yeah, soon. Just give me just 1 year, one more year. Let's just finish the Paris project. Yeah, I'm back soon. And every year I would find an excuse to make it 1 more year. But then, I reached my 40s. I felt it physically that I have to find some balance. And so I started being more aware of the energy flow and of the energy balance on multiple levels, right? Body, emotion, mind, spirit, and how to be aware of it and how to be more intentional with it during a day. So what I do now is I basically think of the day as being 4-8-4 in terms of hours. My first 4 hours are me time. Then it's 8 hours of work, and then it's 4 hours of family and friends. And with this rough estimate, I then start carving the single thing, and I do it with intention. So I live with 3 habits: daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit. Because 95% of whatever is my life and my business is not in my control. Only 5% is in my control, I think. And those 5% are just the daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit. So at least I try to control them, right? And I'm in charge, and I intentionally decide how I will spend my time tomorrow. So every day I create this flow, and it starts with me time. And my me time currently is being outside, listening to audiobooks, podcasts while running, yoga, some meditation, and then playing with my kids, and then making breakfast for them, making them ready for the day. That's mainly the first 4 hours. Then there is work, where we have impact in many time zones around the globe. And then there is the winding down, cooking or playing, and then all the evening rituals that you have with small kids. It's hours of preparing for bed and then playing, cuddling, etc. That's mainly my day, and I reflect on it. And it wasn't always like that. In my field, if you are a good advisor, you are flying around a lot. So thanks to COVID, which brought a little bit of sanity into the industry, and clients started accepting that we do everything online. That was my chance. I said, I'm gonna use this chance. We're gonna digitize the heck out of this business. I want this to work on the phone. Everybody should have time with their family and not flying around to workshops. Come on. Wherever you are, you need this, right? You're an entrepreneur, you need your coach. You need your coach wherever you are in that moment for 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, maybe 20, and then you don't need them at all. So something like, Jarvis and Iron Man, they just have this relation. They are just accessible to each other. Whenever he needs Jarvis, this thing comes up. That's what I want from a coach if I'm an entrepreneur. Maybe I don't need you for 5 days, but when I need you, I want to get access. And maybe it's just one question that I want to ask you, or something that I want to show you and say, hey, give me work critique. So that was the model that I was aspiring to. And that's what we have been building and are now living. So my life has been more integrated with family, with life, with friends, less disintegrated. All right, here is work, here is life. and I never felt it. I feel that it's always right now happening all at once. And so I wanted it to be more integrated and more and more present, instead of, separate and organized around the separation of these two things.
It's so funny. Most people don't say thank goodness for COVID. I can easily relate. My wife and I have worked from the house for me since 1997, and so COVID was no change, right, in terms of how we interacted, how we worked. It's in the coaching profession, though. There's definitely a transformation that has happened and continues to happen. So glad you're taking advantage of that. I want to dive a little bit into the 4 hours me time. So when do you wake up in the morning?
That's quite early, so I wouldn't recommend everybody take that as a recipe. It used to be 6:30, then 6, then 5:30. Now it's 5.
Well, I was wondering,
the earlier you have to wake up.
I was thinking about the 4-8-4. It had to be about a 5, so you could have sort of this 9 to 5 for the 8 hours. And I get it. It's not for me. Mine might be a 2-8-4 if I emulated something, or mine would be a 2-8-6 or something like that, right? Oh, fascinating. Okay. So thank you for that. I love your smile, your focus, family time. The kids are amazing. They for me, mine's now 24, so I've enjoyed every moment of time together. How does being a parent change how you are as a coach?
Oh, wow. So being a parent, so many levels. How much time do we have? The first one was you have a permanent mirror. So you cannot BS yourself out of stuff anymore. So for me, it was like, wow, if integrity was a thing, now it's really a thing. It's 24/7. Like the first years, I even you are just showering and there is a mirror. So there is literally no escape to who you really are, which is beautiful. If you are into self-development, it's beautiful. It's a 24/7 growth opportunity, right? It's also quite tough. There is no off time. There is no time where you go, okay, let me just chill now. Oh no, it's a 24/7 self-development opportunity and you can't turn it off. So I love that part. It has intensified my own learning and it gives me so much feedback. The next thing is they are my teachers. So they are now 7, 4, and 0. They are my teachers because they're so in the moment. It's right now. So I get reminded that, oh, I'm in my head again, or I'm in memories again. I'm in the past. Like I'm thinking of something that happened an hour before, or something that I have to solve in the future. Like in 2 hours, I need to have done this. And then I see my kids and I go, oh, there is also the present moment. Because they remind me. They are right here, right now. And so that's the teacher aspect. And then there is, of course, that they have completely reminded me of being just a kind human, just be present, just be connected, and how important that is, and that everything else actually will fall into place, right? As soon as we are with an open heart, we're connected, we're together, we're seeing each other, we are taking the impulses that come from the other and playing with them, everything's fine. And then everything else that intersects with this is maybe just being in your head.
Hey, Gary, I'm wondering, I'm
So these were
looking at a screen, and it looks like we might have some internet audio issues.
Coming to us. They brought more love. They brought more presence, and also a ton of feedback. And every child triggered some specific childhood memories. Very different, the boys from the girl. They triggered different things in me. Very, very deep, very basic emotions.
Yes.
And topics.
Oh, did you turn us off for a second? Hey, I'm really sorry about this. Sometimes I might actually say it's Silicon Valley has some of the best technology issues. And so it could be us, or it could be the technology infrastructure in Austria. But either way, sorry about that. And we're back. And Simon, you were talking a little bit about your kids being good teachers.
Yes, teachers, mirrors, and triggers. They triggered it, and each one, the boys triggered different topics than the girl. So they triggered and they reminded me of own topics that I thought forgotten, like when I was 2 years old, how I felt, what I was experiencing, etc., and all these very basic topics of belonging, of being seen, being heard, having needs met or not met, and all these beautiful, very, very strong needs and emotions. I was feeling them again, and I had the chance, to reconnect to all of these emotions. So it's wonderful. Every child brought more love and more feedback into our life.
So, if you're listening to this or watching this, I'm hearing this in terms of a father and his children, but I'm also thinking this is also very relevant for a business owner and their clients, or business owners and their coaches who then have clients. And so it seems very relevant in terms of your growth. For me, I always see good parents end up having significantly better businesses, potentially as a result of doing a better job, because they see the world in a different way.
there might be some effects, like becoming a parent is automatically letting go of the ego, because from 1 second to the next, you are not the center of the universe anymore, and you will never be again. And that's a good practice, actually, as a CEO, to know that, however important you are in the boardroom, the moment you come home, you are just here to serve.
Simon, I love it. That's like this significant aha moment.
Yes.
Kids are the ego killer.
Ego
well,
killer.
not really. I get that's tongue in cheek, but I hear you. Yeah.
It's quite an important practice, a humbling practice, and it reminds you, that whatever your role is, CEO, founder, contributor in a team, that it's all about service. And so the question is, who are we here to serve, and how can we best do it right now?
I appreciate that. And now, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about the business directly. Is there a question that you'd like me to ask that we didn't ask?
Yes. So one question is, hey, people, Simon, why did you write Strategy Sprints, the book?
Okay, I get asked that question. And once
asked.
again, for those still hanging out and watching, thanks for bearing with the small technical issues. Really appreciate that. So, Simon, why did you write your book?
I'm glad you asked. And, COVID came. And so I had finally the chance to sit down and write anything. And I was like, all right, this is the time. 21 years I've been in the trenches, doing stuff, solving problems with people, being immersed in the problems and trying to come up with solutions. Now, over all these countries, industries, different teams, there are some evergreen moments. I have something that is like the primary series of Ashtanga Yoga. It's a thing that just works. So when you have something like that, you have to give it away. You have to get it out of your head and do something, either a video or writing it down. And so my thing was, all right, let's make it accessible in form of a book. Let's get it into all airports, all countries, because when you're running a business in these particular times, it's so tough. There are 100 moving parts. Which thing should you commit to this week? You cannot learn that in any MBA, but the practitioners have processes for that. So we said, let's write it down. Let's make it a book. I teamed up with a wonderful editor, a wonderful publisher, a great graphic designer, and it became something enjoyable and something practical. And it's helping right now many businesses navigate these tough times and lead with a bit more ease and grace, which is, I think, very important right now.
I appreciate that. As someone who's published over 750 books, I always look to our authors to come up with really good, compelling content, and then be able to use the book in a way that they're driving more business for them. One of the things I did is I looked at your website when obviously before we talked, and I think you have a very elegant website. I love the types of things that you do. I'd be honored if you could tell the audience if they needed to reach out to you, they were excited about you. I would say the things that are worthwhile is being able to live the type of life that Simon has as a business owner, as a CEO. That's what you promise on your website. That's who you are and how you show up. Simon, how best should people reach out to you?
I like that you say life, because actually we are talking so much business on the website, but you caught what it's really about. It's about living the sprint life, living, what your dream is. And if you start a business, then that business is one vehicle of expressing that, and it should be conducive, like to a good life, right here, right now for you. So yes, people can find us at strategysprints.com. You will find here many people who are using the things and are now having a better life while running the business. For people just listening, we see images of people on the beach who enjoy their life again, even if running a business is challenging and is demanding, but they can do it from their dream place and from their happy place, which I think is possible both in terms geographically. You can run your business from wherever you want physically, in terms of location, but also in terms of from the inner place, right? You don't have to come from struggle and hustle and you can do it from a place that is your genuine place of your happy place. And you come from abundance and you come from who you are and not from whatever you think you have to do or achieve.
I agree. Karen Perkins, thank you so much for playing the video in the background. Pretty cool. Hey, if you want to see a site that has both simple and robust navigation from a perspective of looking at credibility and how they actually show both ongoing testimonials and compelling content with good CTAs. That's clearly what you could see from Simon's site. Simon, thanks again for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mitchell, for holding the space and for showing up for your community so consistently.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad to be back. I was out for a month in Europe for a month. I had a phenomenal time, but it's really great to be back, and it's fun to hold this space and actually have you come and join us and participate. So here's the time where it's important. If you're still here, this is the time to spread some cred dust. Click on the like button, share with your friends, take the one or two of your favorite aha moments from this session and write about it in the post. And I look forward to seeing you at the next episode of Leaders Living Their Values. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And thanks again, Simon. Take care. Bye now.